Welcome, guys. This is the Comic Book Food Chain channel. You guys are joining us with my guy Frank Gogol, Aaron Yee. We're hanging out tonight. We're going to be talking about a couple different things tonight. We're going to be discussing Godzilla versus Kong. Going to get into some franchise type situations in comics. Of course, we're going to talk about what we're eating. But again, let's see how everybody's doing this week. Frank, how you living?
Same old, man. Comics are good. I've been writing, working. I'm working on like 4 books at once for the first time ever, and it's pretty crazy. It's a lot of spinning plates and doing this show, but this is my break. I like doing this.
Right on. And it sounds like you got to be super organized, having a multiple different mindsets for each individual story you're working on.
Yeah, it's cool because everything's kind of at different stages, and for different projects, I've got different teams. So like, one of the things is the Power Rangers book over at Boom. So like, I don't have a lot of that on my plate, which is cool. I don't have to do any of the coordinating with the artist, the colorist, the letter. I have to review some pages every once in a while, but that's largely hands off. But my next creator-owned book that's coming out this summer, that's not announced yet, is like right in the knee deep in production. So I'm looking at pages every day. I'm tweaking the script as we go, communicating with people. And then there's stuff that is just really early on. It's not like official. It's coming out next year, but No Heroine 2 is coming. I just finished writing that. Chris just started
Nice.
thumbnailing the first issue. It's cool. And then there's some other unannounced stuff that is going to at various stages. So it's a lot, but it's kind of like going to the gym. Like, you don't walk into the gym on day one and bench 200, right? Like you start with the bar and like 10-pound plates, and then you work your way up little by little. I've been doing this as of today, actually, officially for 5 years. 5 years ago today, I sent my first script to my first artist for a story that would become the first story in Grief. And over the years, I've gotten a little bit better at doing more at a time as I've gotten better at managing the process and writing and stuff like that. So it's just, I'm not benching 200. I'm not Jeff Lemire, but I'm at like 100, 110.
Hey, that's respectable, man. You got it down. That's cool. But guys, I'm Anthony with Bird City Comics, and what's new with me, man? We got some new books coming out. If you guys have not seen, we got a very gorgeous Miles Morales 25. We've been dropping the images all week long. We got a 3-book set, and make sure that you stick around because we might be talking to a special artist down the road a little bit and going over some other really cool art. All I'm going to say right now, but let's move on to I don't know if you saw my description, Yee. Did you see it for YouTube?
What does it say? Oh, should I read it?
Creator Frank Gogol, Bird City Comics owner Anthony Arroyo. Can you see it?
Collector?
No, it says better than that. It says
expert collector.
Expert collector.
Oh shit!
Dang, I'm moving up in the world. Yeah. So,
so far, you are the only person that benefit from us doing this show.
You can catch me on this show, but you can also catch me on the flip side. So I'm getting like information from all over the place. Like my collection is gonna be like unstoppable. So like, yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, it's getting too large though. But I'm about to buy a new long box when I pick up this week's books. So
big time.
Yeah. But yeah, just staying busy with flip side. So we're having a lot of fun over there, having a blast over here too. So.
Yep. So yeah, man, everybody looks like we're doing good. Let's get this show on the road and let's talk about a couple of things we need to get out of the way before we move on to the meat and potatoes of the show. Frank, what you got for us?
So last week we said we were going to have a winner for our Final Four from a couple weeks back. The winner's segment pitch would get adapted at some point in April. There was a vote. We did the counting. And on the next slide, we've got our winner, and it is... drum roll, 9 Square Inches, who wanted us to do a sort of comic book origin stories. This is actually something we talked about doing internally anyway, so this worked out. It's just moving up. So at some point this month, we'll do an episode where we do a segment talking about how we got in the comics, how we got involved, how we each sort of ended up in the place in the food chain where we did. That'll probably be a longer segment. Probably, I think that those stories. I know my story is really convoluted and insane. So we'll see. So
we might need to break that into segments or something. Touch on each one. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not good at math. But that'll probably be the last week of the month because I know we've got 2 weeks from now planned, and we just locked in next week. So
Yep.
look for that at the end of the month. April's going to be a fun month.
I love it. Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff planned for you guys, so make sure that you tune in. We're going to move on to the next thing here. We're definitely going to do that, but this is the next point I'm going to make. Make sure you guys are subbing. Send some people our way. I'm telling you, they're going to enjoy it. And we're on our way. So we're looking at we're unlocking 800, and we need to get there.
Yeah, and we're just like we're in spitting distance. So
Nice.
if you got a friend, if you're not busy this second, share out the link. Try and get some people excited. I just bought a handful of the incentive variants for the Phantom Ranger book that I wrote.
Nice.
The 1 in 25s and the 1 in 50s. They're pretty nice. That might be up for a giveaway down the line. So if you are a Rangers fan and you're watching and you want to bring some of your friends along, do it. Do it.
It's worth it to hang out, click the button, get your friends to click the button because they might win something gorgeous just like this. So, guys, this is a Justice League of America issue number 10 movie foil variant. This is the 800 giveaway. It's sitting right here next to me, top loaded in a Mylar bag, ready to go home to one of the comic book food chain people. So make sure that you, again, share this out, encourage your people to come check us out, get us to that and give this bad boy away.
Whose dog was that?
My pug's too small for that.
10 push-ups. I'm getting tired of pee breaks and dog barking and all this.
Hey, seltzers, they flow right through me, broski. All right, then we got over to the 1,000 subs. Gogol, you're giving away something cool, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a personal copy of mine. It was gifted to me by David and Drew, the creators of Kanto. This is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Kanto #1 from, was it 2 years ago? I can't tell time anymore. But this is a pretty near mint condition. I haven't looked at it in a while, but it's a really nice copy. These are selling for shit ton right now, especially since Kanto just got announced for animation.
Yep.
With David writing the script. So this is going to be a book people want in their collection, and one that I'm not exactly happy to part with because it was a gift, but I feel like I'll see Drew and David again. I'll have something else from them eventually.
And that's kind of nice. You have that relationship, so this something could come back around and you're going to be all right.
How many boxes do you have to dig through to find it?
Right.
So I actually keep like all my comics that I'm gifted or like my #1 issues of books I pick up for like friends and stuff in one box. So I knew where it was, just had to kind of rifle through and find it in that box. I'm like, I don't know if you guys can see behind me, like I'm super fucking organized. So like I could tell you every comic in every box in my closet.
That's
without
pretty
thinking about
impressive.
Nice.
It's I have to be super organized. It's part of why I can do 4 comics at once, but like it's uncomfortable when I don't.
Yeah, I wish my collection was that organized. It's definitely not. Like when I decided to do that Justice League cover, you should have seen the madhouse to try to find where that thing was here.
I'm sure you have a lot more comics than me though.
Yeah, I just have to organize like 5 long boxes, and I think I should be like pretty close to being alphabetical order.
Yeah, I think I'm at 9 with needing a 10th, and I use the drawer boxes, so they're a little shorter.
So I know you guys hate math, but I've got 10 racks in the new warehouse. I was able to expand it out to 15. There's 25 long boxes on a rack,
Ooh.
and they are full.
Nice.
Do some math. Oof.
Glad I don't have to help you move.
Right. All right, guys, let's move on to the meat and the potatoes. Hopefully you guys have been seeing everything that's going on with this movie. You've went back and started with Skull Island, right? And watched them up to become current.
Me? Yeah.
Well,
I didn't. I just watched this.
You know what's funny? When you told us you watched Skull Island, Gogol, I made Laura watch it. I was like, we're going to watch Skull Island because I just wanted to. And then when you were like, hey, let's talk about the new one, I'm like, thank God I went back and kind of gave myself a little refresher.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I don't want to jump too much into the conversation like ahead, but one of the things I liked about the movie was like it felt like the other movies were required reading. Like if you didn't see them, some things might not have made sense, which is an accessibility issue, but it made me feel rewarded in a way that like made it gratifying.
So let me ask you guys a question then, again, before we get into the details of our thoughts here. When you get a movie like this that comes out that you really enjoy and you're like, okay, I'm looking forward to this, I want to see it. Do you go back and watch the prequels that lead up to it? Because I can tell you with me with TV episodes, super weird. I will watch the previous episode, just the last 10, 15 minutes of it, just so I can flow nicely into the next one. With movies, I try, but TV for sure, that's my go-to.
It depends. It depends on like what it is. Like with the Marvel movies, I'll go back and like Winter Soldier is running right now. So before that came out, I watched Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Endgame. And I'd watch two of those for WandaVision too. Like, so I'll like refresh on like the very required reading if it's there. But I won't go back and watch 23 Marvel movies now. I used to like when Avengers came out, I went back and watched all those, and when Age of Ultron came out, I think I went back and watched everything. And I think maybe before Endgame, I went back and watched most of it. But like at some point, it's just too much.
With that many, yeah, for sure.
Not. It depends on what it is. I'm not really big into monster movies. Like I watch them every so often, but with this, I was just like, I'll check it out, see what everyone's talking about. So I skipped out on Kong and the Godzilla films, and I was just like, whatever.
You know that works for me too. If it's something I really don't want to watch, because spoilers don't bother me at all. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, I don't want to tell you it was great," I'm like, "Just tell me." Like I'm gonna spoil. I'm like, I don't care. I'll enjoy it just the same when I see it for myself. If I decide to do that,
I mean, and it's not like you can browse the internet without getting it spoiled, anyways, right?
for real. Dude,
Right?
you can't get on Instagram without getting a spoiler.
Dude, you can do it passively now. Like on Twitter, it'll tell you what people are talking about. Like they have AI now that like makes a sentence about what is trending, and it's always full of spoilers. And it's not even somebody did it to you anymore. It's like completely passive. So like I watch Falcon and Winter Soldier at 7 o'clock in the morning before I do anything else, like just because.
Just so you don't get the spoilers. AI
Yeah.
is creepy. We need a whole episode on that too, by the way.
Yeah. Oof. Let's go around the table, and then let's do reverse order. We'll start with you, Yi, and then we'll come back to me. Just impressions. What you thought? Did you like it? Would you watch another kind of stuff?
I mean, I enjoyed it. Like since I'm not like too familiar with the storyline or anything like that. Like it's a monster film. Like the special effects were there. The actors they picked were great. I mean, I really enjoy watching Millie Brown like expanding her career outside of Stranger Things, and that it's like, oh, she has a range. She can do other things like besides just being in a horror TV Netflix series. So
Laura
I would
mentioned,
definitely.
she's like, all I see is 11.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, like my first thought was like, oh, so we get to see what happens like in like all the like Stranger Things stuff, like in Underworld and all that, blah blah blah. Like just joking, but I mean, I would definitely check out other series in it. Like I might even go back and watch Kong, just so I can like get the full experience once I find time.
Yeah, and really absorb it and see, because that movie had a lot of things going on in it, that I felt like it wasn't essential to see the prior two, because it still all makes sense because they told a complete story.
Right.
But to kind of some of the stuff that was weird that I'm going to talk about, I was just like, you want to go back and watch it just so you can see why that was stupidly done that way, because
Okay.
they did it already and they had to keep with it to be a part of the storyline. Can't change it. Like when they change an actor, like when Dumbledore was recasted, and you're like, oh, what'd you do? You messed up. Still Dumbledore.
See, I'm one of those people that hasn't seen Harry Potter.
Oh my goodness, we need to do.
Did you guys know that the first movie came out 20 years ago?
Oh yes,
Dude, I found that out yesterday, and I saw gray hair immediately.
dude. We went to 2 midnight showings of those movies with Laura pregnant, like far along pregnant, and went to midnight showings for Harry Potter's with both kids. And the first one was awesome because they had like an expanded food court with like a chili cheesesteak place. So like we had all this, pregnancy food like lined up. Dude, I was in heaven for the first one. Whole other story though. Just super side note. All right, so what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? What'd you like?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right, Gogol, it's my turn. Sounds like I'm gonna need you and Yi to follow along with me because I got questions. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
First off, I think that the film looked great, sounded great, but the premise was like way left field. Like this is almost borderline falling into one of my favorite worst films of all time. And I love bad movies, so I will rewatch this movie again. Here's what didn't work for me. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you
Yeah,
guys
it's
have any
almost been out a week now, right?
Okay, so disclaimer, I'm going to get into some details that I was just like, what the hell? All right, first off, the guy's daughter that shows up on the aircraft carrier, that character makes no sense to me. It's like
The little deaf girl.
yeah, it's like Ra's al Ghul's daughter, but she had no
Oh, yeah.
purpose except for like 5 minutes, and then she dies.
Oh, where she gets, yeah.
Number two, she brought anti gravity aircrafts, and we're going to the center of the Earth, not into space with these. By the way, the technology that they had for this movie to go to the center of the Earth, why are we going down when we should be going up? This should have been a space movie. There should have been
Well,
Space Godzilla.
they had to get into that underworld that one dude discovered,
Dude,
his brother discovered or whatever.
as soon as we have anti gravity and they use some type of wormhole situation to get through to the bottom and shoot through and to pick up that speed, we should be in another galaxy for this movie. That drove me nuts. I'm like, wait, we got spaceships, but we're going down, not up. Second thing.
Who says they're not going down? Or who says they're not going up? You just don't see them going up. Maybe they are. Maybe that technology is being used for that, but has nothing to do with this movie.
I don't know. It's Hollow Earth, so they're here still. Now, you would have me if there was a wormhole down that shot them somewhere else, but they're here.
All right, go on, go on.
Okay. So that was the other part. Then Kong gets an axe.
Oh, yeah.
he picks up the glowy axe, and I'm like, oh, he's Thor now. Because he's got Stormbreaker. And it lights up all lightning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're losing me quick, but I'm into it. Okay. As I'm saying, you guys might have to jump in and save me here and there because I'm watching this thing. It was a complete roller coaster for me. Like, you couldn't believe it. And there's a little girl. And she was fantastic. I bought her to a T. She, the sign language, and she was very genuine in her face emotions. And I thought to myself, okay, this woman, the scientist, adopts her from her home world, but she still wears all her tribe's attire with Converse.
That's just ad placement. So like, there's nothing you can do about that.
I'm just saying, though, they went legit outfit head to toe. I'm talking like the drapey, very monkey type, with the hanky clothes, the necklace, the way the hair was done and tied up. And I'm like, but she's in Chucks. Like, she should be wearing sandals. I'm sorry.
I gotta stop you.
Okay, please. I had notes I was taking.
All right, so you understand that the premise of this movie is that a giant fucking lizard is fighting a giant fucking monkey, and you're gonna nitpick anything, but you accept the fight part.
Well, that was the other funny part. I'm not even there yet, but yeah, keep going with your thought here.
I just can't get over. All right, the giant monkey and the giant lizard can fight, but this girl's wearing shoes.
I was like, dude, take her and get her like a normal hairdo. She didn't have to wear the headband with the hair loops, and then you threw on kicks. Like, she's got to be elitist.
I feel like you're getting into some dangerous territory. This little girl got adopted from a foreign country, and you want her to shed all her culture?
Yeah, we assimilate. I don't speak Spanish. I'm Hispanic.
No, I'm not touching any of this.
Okay, let me clarify.
We're going up in real time as we have this conversation.
I'm just saying it's a movie, so they cast it. They did that on purpose. Where was the other points I was going with this bad boy? So it was just a lot of the details that didn't make sense for me. I'm sitting there watching it like, okay, why is this? Why is that? Why do we have spaceships? Okay, and then let's get into the Godzilla fight. Okay. So then they go and throw down. And Godzilla beats down on him, whatever. And they do this really weird like handshake head nod thing. You guys caught that part, right?
Yeah.
And Laura goes, he's pissed. And I'm like, no, he just whipped his ass. That's like, I got you, bitch. And then he walks away. Right. And then King Kong's laying there like, oh, damn, laid out. Dude, that dude goes through some hell. Like, he needs a vacation for real.
He got his vacation.
Dude, he lived on a tropical island his whole life. Like, he needed a not vacation.
The new vacation they handed him put him on an island with bird bats that clawed him and viper. That was the thing. He had to defeat what are they called? Skull crawlers.
Yeah.
Okay. Skull crawlers, no big deal. Skull crawlers. He's used to find those. The thing in the lake, whatever. Then they drop him off a new world with all new enemies. That snake, python thing,
the flying snake.
That thing looked badass.
That was cool.
I'd have been like, I'll go back to the wall crawlers. These things are fucking creepy. No, thank you.
I don't know, man. If you saw Kong Skull Island, he was fighting those things when he was like a kid,
right?
Like in the 70s. He's like 50 years older now. He's got to level up or die.
I don't know. See, after 50 years of fighting those guys, I'd be like, all right, where's my pina colada? You humans just bring me treats. I killed the granddaddy, skull crawler. I should be good. But no, they picked my ass up, sedated me, took me to the center of the earth where I got whole new monsters to come at me. but I got an axe, and he had a throne. That was a pretty badass. You know, the throne sit. I was like, okay.
Well,
Okay.
and then my favorite scene is how they escape the first time, like in the ocean. You know, oh, let's just pretend we're dead, and then
Yeah.
and then we get away. Yay! I didn't know we were dealing with. I don't know what animal you pretend you're dead with to like escape, but I guess it's apparently Godzilla's.
A T-Rex. You don't move them. You know?
Right? They're just all.
All right.
Okay, move. So that was my take on it, guys. But I did
Thumbs up,
enjoy
thumbs
it.
down, though. I mean,
That's
I
what I'm
can't
saying.
tell.
I will rewatch it. I enjoyed it. I didn't
Nice.
get a lot of it, but I loved that part of it.
All right, it's my turn. I liked it. It was not a good movie. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm not saying it needs an Oscar. Like, I'm not even saying it needs a Golden Globe or a Razzie. I mean, it's not. It's fine. It was a fine movie. I enjoyed it. One thing I did notice, and this is really more of a commentary on like the franchise across all the movies than just this one, is I rewatched the first Godzilla, the 2014 one with Bryan Cranston and Wanda and Pietro, who have a kid together. But that movie was like a very serious movie. Like that was like for me the pinnacle like of what a Godzilla movie could be. Like it was very serious. It looked good. It lacked some of the campiness that like the Godzilla franchise has been known for since like the late 50s and 60s. But like if you were going to make a Godzilla movie, I'm not sure what more you could have asked for. And it was very serious in tone. Like there was no joke, not one joke in that movie, not one line delivered funny. And then when you get to Kong Skull Island, which I don't think was supposed to necessarily be like a tie-in movie at the start,
Right.
you've got John C. Reilly, right? Like, and it's genuinely funny in some spots, but it is also serious. And then things like go off the rails when you get to King of Monsters. Like it's just over the top. Characters are kind of like caricatures. Like
Right.
you've got like villainous people. You've got like terrorist groups bent on releasing the monsters and taking over the world or killing the monsters. And like, I mean, it like they lean into stuff that wasn't in the first movie. And like, I definitely liked the first movie better for that tone. But this movie was like the apex of that campy caricature tone. Like, I mean, like the bad guy is building a giant fucking robot to Godzilla. Like that's I loved. Like I loved it. It's in the franchise's history. It's a great nod. It's some kind of a logical response to these apex predators being around. Like, all right, build a bigger one. That's a robot that we
I
can
was
control.
pumped about that, by the way, though. I did see that, and I was like, all right, that's fucking cool.
I wish that they had like beat around the bush around it a little more, like and
Right.
didn't do it in the trailer because like it could have been a very cool like last fight.
Reveal. Yeah.
Build the whole movie to be Kong versus Godzilla, and then this thing goes haywire, and we don't even know what it is until it shows up. But like I liked kind of like so like there's this thing that there isn't a word for, but it's like comic booky. Like that's what I call it. It's like when a story like uses kind of like in-universe explanations and like combinations of things to make things happen. Like good examples are like classic X-Men comics, like X-Men Fastball Special. It's like, you know, two mutant powers coming together to make something we haven't seen before. And like they really mined some of the good stuff from like the other movies, like Gadir, what the fuck is that giant three-headed one's name? Ghidorah, right?
I wouldn't even know how to say it if I saw the
I'm
word.
having a stroke. Like I know how to say it, but I can't say it. I'm just gonna call it Ghidorah. I think that's right. But like using its skull, which we saw at the end of the last one, getting snuck away, as like the chair that you control Mechagodzilla from, using insane science logic that you can control using psycho waves or whatever. Like I like stupid shit like that, like those comic booky explanations, like hacking together explanations with in-universe stuff. Is it good? No. Does it make sense? Absolutely fucking not. Is it cool? Yeah, it's awesome.
So
and
you're
like
talking like you saw that like a panel, because that's how I saw it. When they came walking into the room, which by the way, how did two kids and a janitor break into a secure facility and jump in a car that took them all the way to China? Sorry, side note. But then they walk in and they see the skull, and I'm like, that is a cool panel to walk in on.
yeah, I definitely imagine everything I write in widescreen, and that's just like a product of reading so much 2000s comics, you know, Brian Hitch, David Finch, like people who just drew in widescreen panels. And that's like when I see layouts for a page, like it's never what I imagine, except for if it needs to be stacked panels. But getting back to the movie, we talked about this a bunch on other episodes. Like I have a hard time turning my brain off and not picking movies apart. So when a movie is this over the top, I always enjoy it because there's nothing to think about.
Right.
Right? Like I could watch this movie and probably learn nothing about storytelling. I might unlearn some stuff by accident. But it was a good looking movie. The fights were badass, even though apes can't swim. So like, it should have been over about halfway through. Um, yeah, but I don't know. Like I knew what I was getting into and I got 110% of that. And like, that's two huge thumbs up.
Yeah. So this was more along the lines of one of those things where you could just enjoy it, because you weren't looking to get anything out of it, and it delivered something nice to look at.
Yeah. And it was like a nice treat. Like I love going to the theater and I know that HBO Max dropping all this stuff for free on HBO Max all year long is not going to be great for theaters in the long run. But fuck, man, I haven't seen like almost anything new in a year and a half. Like a couple things here and there, and like things have started coming faster lately. And it's been nice to break up the monotony of not knowing what day it is. So like for a mental health reason, this movie was great, and it came in the middle of the week, not on a Friday, so it didn't fuck up like my Friday, so I can watch Invincible and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and not have to worry about watching this too.
Right on. All right, real quick. First thing that comes to your mind when you go to the theater or used to go to the theater, what was the candy you bought?
Mike and Ike.
Mike and Ike's.
You're fired. Get off of my show.
Dang.
Hey, what is it?
It's disgusting, is what it is.
Well, I'm just saying that you only get at the theater because Raisinets for me.
Bunch Crunch, the little Crunch bar nuggets. I don't think they make them anymore though.
Okay, so like the Crunch bar, but in the nugget form.
Yeah, like the crispier, racier kind of less chocolate.
Before that,
Butterfinger BBs too, but they don't make those either.
The little bite-sized butter, yeah.
I usually go for popcorn. Not kidding. I'm not a big candy person when I go to the movies, but every other fucking day of my life, I eat candy all the time.
Yeah, same. And me either. I'm not a popcorn guy. I don't know why. Unless it's like designer popcorn, I might be bougie that way. Like Costco does the zebra popcorn, I'm in.
What if I said red vines instead? Because I'll also eat those.
Strawberry or cherry?
Strawberry.
Okay, you could say.
All right, we got a
redemption candy. Yes.
Here we go.
Nobody's watching this show for me, but if they are, they're doing it for the strong opinions. I'm just trying to stay on brand.
Just dishing it out. So, Gogol, this was a thumbs up for you.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. I was a 2-thumber as well. I finished it. I liked it.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up because it took me. I had to watch in 2 sections.
How long did it take you to watch Justice League? How many sittings?
How many sittings? 2 also. Okay.
Are you just a 2-sitting kind of guy?
I guess so. I mean, I'm not forced to watch it all at once like I am in the theater, so I can watch it at my leisure.
So theaters.
I mean, I started at midnight, like when I'm free and don't have to do anything, and then so I'm watching like for 2 more hours before I actually pass out, and then I'm not gonna stay up 4 hours and then go to work.
Yeah,
if you cared about this show, you would.
Justice League took me 3 sittings, and one of them I was in bed and Laura's asleep, and I flipped around and laid at the feet because it was just on my mind. So the foot to head, so the light from the phone would get her. I put in headphones and everything, and something happened. I went, oh shit, and then all of a sudden I feel a tug, like boom, and she goes, go to sleep. Let's say that louder than that. All right, so we liked it, guys, and of course, one of the segments that we're talking about, which is kind of going to roll into that, are our franchises. How did we word this? Because this threw me off today when we were talking about it.
So this is something I pitched, so I'll own it.
Yes.
So franchise comics for me, like we'll get into how I feel about them, are comics that didn't start as comics but give you more of that content, right? So Buffy ended with season 7, and then we got Buffy season 8 as a comic. There are a handful of Alien movies, but there are dozens of Alien series set in between and around and reimagining Alien movies. Godzilla has had a shit ton of comics at a bunch of different publishers over the years. Simpsons, Rick and Morty, Beast Wars, Transformers, all these things that weren't originally comics but eventually became comics or are comics now as like a spiritual successor. So that's what we're talking about when we say franchise comics. I couldn't think of a better way to name it, so this is what I did.
I should have just called you because now with that explanation, one of my picks is totally going to change. And I was thinking Stranger Things because of the Stranger Thing comics. They tell buyer's side from in the upside down as opposed to the storyline where we see what's on the outside. Damn
Yeah.
it! Now I get it.
This is why we need meetings.
Yeah.
I didn't make Easter be on a Sunday or be a thing. Otherwise, we would have had a meeting. But
I would have showed up anyways.
you were at work or watching Godzilla still.
Right. This is
Yeah.
devastating 3.
But all right, so let's talk about how we're going to have this conversation.
Yes.
We'll do it food chain style. We'll start with me and go the regular food chain route, and just kind of, now that you understand it, talk about how you feel about them, what they mean to you as a retailer, reader, collector, and then we'll see where we go from there. We'll get to that kind of organic part of the conversation. So for me, for a very long time, I was incredibly anti-franchise comics, like Star Wars expanded universe comics, tie-in comics for the MCU, stuff like that. For me, there was something about it that like didn't feel like it was real, right? It was like this is that thing that they're going to ignore if they want to do something else in the Star Wars movie. So like, why should I invest in it?
So you felt like more there was a way to test ideas and theories for something you already enjoyed,
or like a cheap way to get more content that they don't have to be beholden to later. Like, I mean, look at the Star Wars canon. They threw almost all of it out when Disney bought it. Like that was like the scary risk that was at the end of the tunnel for me with all of this. Obviously, that's like an exaggeration, and like I'm older and have much different views on it now. But like for a long time, that's kind of how I felt about it. I was like, I'll just invest in these other properties like the Marvel and DC characters and yeah, not buy these comics. That all changed for me in, I want to say 2008, when the Buffy comics started coming out from Dark Horse. We've talked about this a bunch. I'm a huge Buffy fan. When Buffy ended with season 7, I was pretty happy with like the way the whole series went. Like I didn't necessarily need more, but then when they announced season 8, I was like, fuck yeah, give me like 1,000 more years of Buffy.
right?
So I read them. They were a mixed bag, but so was the show. I loved it anyway. But like it really changed my mind because it was like an application of the idea that I hadn't seen before. It wasn't expanding for the sake of expanding. It was expanding because this was now the primary mode of telling this story, right? Like there were going to be no more TV shows. So like it felt real to me. And that started to kind of soften my stance on it. And this is before I was writing comics. So like over the years, like a lot of the franchises that I love have like continued on as comics. So Power Rangers, obviously, Beast Wars just launched a new iteration over at IDW a couple months ago. And now that I'm older and more nostalgic about things, like I get it and it's different, and I like a lot of them. I love some of my picks are things that I would have never guessed they would be. So as a writer, I kind of have like the same story template. Like I originally was like, fuck this. Like I call franchise comics were the F word to me for a long time. Is like everybody who writes comics, like you get your break on some book. Like nobody is going to give you Superman tomorrow. Like that's no one's first book unless you are a very famous Hollywood director's son. Then maybe you can write Spider-Man. Maybe.
There you go.
But like if you want to write Superman, you want to write Batman, Avengers someday, like you're not starting on those books, and you have to, kind of cut your teeth on something like My Little Pony, which I was 1,000% sure was like the first thing I was going to have to choke it down and say, yeah, I'll take that job because it gets you in. I got lucky as hell, and my first book was Power Rangers, which is a series I love. It's $1 billion franchise, like, with 30 years of history and a huge fan base. I lucked out. But before that, my opinions of it softened because I do want to be a creator and I do want to be successful. And you got to put in the time, and you got to, make a name for yourself. And like, it's part of the grind. So like if somebody 2 years ago offered me My Little Pony, I would have said, fuck yeah, I'll write 2 years of it. Like my attitude changed completely. So like that's kind of where I'm at. I love franchise comics. Like I'm very picky. Obviously I read the ones I want to read, things that I'm invested in. There's no I can't think of a franchise comic for something that I wasn't invested in prior that I went and read like the expanded version of in comics. Like, and there are some things that I've just chosen not to continue with. Like, I know that you read Firefly, right?
Yeah.
I love the Firefly show. I love Serenity. I just didn't have the energy or bandwidth to get into the Firefly comics. Now there's a lot of them, and I feel like it's just I
Gotcha.
missed that train.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's sort of where I'm at on franchise comics. They were this thing that didn't feel real to me, and then I fell in love with them, and then they're this thing I didn't really want to do, and now I'm like, please pay me to write whatever you've got,
There you go. There you
without sounding desperate.
go. That didn't. That was totally smooth. Um. Okay, so I've got two different perspectives on this. Now that I've heard a little further explanation, the personal side of me, I like franchise extensions. I like to call them when they are preceding live action. Because you think Pokemon, there's what 25, 27 seasons of that, and Ash hasn't gotten any older. It's a cartoon, so they can do that. You know, when you cast these characters that we fall in love with, they get older, they grow up, and you want them to stay in that universe, just like Buffy. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar can't play Buffy forever as much as we want her to.
Or can she?
You'd have to adapt it into age, like Indiana Jones, where he's all old in the Crystal Skull one, and they had to play on that because he's old now.
Man, did this CGI over the face was good.
The Crystal Skull. I'm not familiar with this. I didn't realize they made another indie film.
There you go. So you see where I'm going with this. From a personal perspective, it's live action and I enjoy it. I don't mind it flowing into comic books because you get a little backstory, you get a little more detail, a little more meat on the bone that they can fill in some gaps or add some things, and then you get to continue to love the characters that we fell in love with originally without them phasing out due to age or whatever it is. Or what about personal stuff, personal things that happen to them in their lives and they can't play the roles anymore, yada yada. I mean, Maggie. How long Simpsons been around and Maggie's still a baby? That's great.
Was it like 30 something plus years, right?
Right. So
I think
yeah,
Bart had like 9 10th birthdays.
exactly. So I enjoy them from the retailer aspect. I enjoy them even more because I feel like comic collectors, and you can tell me this: when you decide you like a character, whether it's good or it's bad, you're going to support the character.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like you're gonna collect anything that they're on, like where it's like
Disease.
side stories, like whatever. Like it's like, oh, there's a mention of this character. I gotta find it now.
I gotta have it because I've decided that I like this character and I'm gonna collect it. And they don't care what the content is. They don't care if it's bad or if it's good. They're gonna buy it to support. They're like the best sports fans ever that are ride or die. So from a retailer aspect, when they roll out with a Godzilla, it could be the worst story ever. If there's a Godzilla fan base, people are gonna pick it up. So again, I'm another double thumbs up personally, especially if it's live action. I love it that they give me a little more meat on the bone. And then from a retailer perspective, if you're a fan of it, most collectors are ride or die and they roll with it, and it's always good for me. So it's a win-win.
I'll even say this: like, even if the character has nothing to do inside the book at all, this shows up on the cover, it's probably gonna end up in my collection.
I can't. What did I do? Oh God, I can't even say it. Well, a couple shows remind me of this conversation because we basically took a book and put a character that has nothing to do with the book on it because people like the character.
That's called bait and switch. It's bad marketing, and it's great for sales.
So that is my take on it. Double thumbs up, retailer personal perspective. Cruise on to the Yeanator.
So I guess I have like two kind of perspectives from it. Like, I if it's a story I'm already invested in, and I want to expand more of what's happening in that world, I'm gonna buy it. If it's literally, you could tell like, hey, this is a cash grab, like, and it's not going to do anything for any stories, like it's not going to expand the universe, nothing, then like I might give it an issue try, and then I'll just dip out. Um, you know, something like Rick and Morty, they have so many side expansion stories now. I'm not investing in all of them. I'm picking the.
That's where I would argue is like Rick and Morty is like the perfect franchise to have additional things because there's so little of it, but because it's episodic in nature, like the issues of Rick and Morty I've read are essentially just other episodes.
That's very true. And so they expanded outside of that, just like that main storyline, and then they have sides like one shots and stuff like that. where it's like the Council of Ricks has like a couple issues, or and then like they're building up even
Time out.
further.
We've got a very important question. Um,
Oh, jeez, Tim.
I'm gonna settle this. How do I say this tactfully?
Let me record
Um,
you.
This is going on Instagram right now. Live.
you know what? They're both really great franchises with really great fan bases, and they're just very different from one another. And there's no comparing them. And Power Rangers is way better. They're both owned by Hasbro, and there are now crossover toys. There's a My Little Pony Pink Ranger. So, like, honestly, I don't even think they're a different brand anymore.
Yeah, there you go. I
Wait,
heard
so
there's a
what?
whole- what?
I was gonna say, what hasn't My Little Pony done a crossover with
Right?
at this point?
I know they're in
Back to the
Transformers.
Future might be still on the table.
Oh, they did Back to the Future and Transformers. That's what they're working on right now.
Well, yeah. So, like,
yeah.
IDW's wheelhouse of properties and Hasbro's wheelhouse of properties have been so intermingled because of the comics over there, and it's even like poisoned other wells. Like there was an Avengers Transformers comic back in the early 2000s. There's just this, that, and the other thing. Just to reiterate, say it with me: Power Rangers is better than My Little Pony.
I don't know.
Put that on repeat. Put it on repeat. Remix it to dubstep or whatever. Like I don't care. I'll die on that hill.
Did you guys know that there's a thing called bronies? It's a real thing. It's biker-esque manly men that are My Little Pony fans.
Oh yeah, there's like 2 documentaries about it, and they're fucking fascinating.
You don't go to the conventions?
Well, okay, conventions
I'm
are
just
different
messing
because there's a lot of weird at conventions.
Well, no, there's like specific conventions for My Little Ponies that bronies gather at.
It blew my mind. Like, I want to go observe so bad. It's so fascinating. Like, not in a mean way, and I don't mean this to do you, but Comic Cons are the best place to people watch. And a brony con I would die to sit there and just look around.
It's like that Bob's Burgers episode.
Dude, I was just going to bring that up. That is absolutely one of the best episodes of television ever. But it definitely is a caricature of who those people are. But it's a good primer for like what an extreme case would be. Just think of like, I mean, they're just like comic fans. There are really good ones. There are people really just passionate about comics, and then there are people who are going to gatekeep you into oblivion because you haven't read one issue of something and don't know the name of character D from a panel in it. Like it's like any other fandom. There's gradations.
You are preaching to the choir. Being a store owner of comic books, people assume I know everything about everything, and they jump on opportunities to correct me. So finally, I just started saying, yeah, maybe I know this one. If I don't comment.
My God, poor Laura.
Or Laura.
Well, actually, I bet at this point, Laura probably knows as much, if not more, about comics than you do.
That might be accurate because she has to definitely enjoy the hobby a little bit more time-wise.
Well, she's on 2 shows, and you're on.
Yeah, and their show has 20 more episodes than ours. So, I mean, just by the numbers, statistically speaking, also there's a really good episode of Big Bang Theory, and you'll never hear those words come out of my mouth again in any other context. But the girlfriends like read a comic while the guys are away at a convention. They want to like know what it's all about, and they like devolve into like the worst kind of comic fans. Like they're in the comic shop arguing about Red Hulk and like whether he'd be able to pick up Mjolnir, and like, but if he's in space, maybe he can. Like, I mean, like it is hysterical and painful to watch.
And all the boyfriends are like gathered around, and they're like, "This is so hot." Yeah, they're debating comic lore.
I have a wife who loves comic books and knows more about some characters than I do, and that's all I'll say about that.
It's an attractive feature. So if
you're
lucky enough,
that's how I should have said it.
Boom! I got you covered, guy. All right, guys. So if you guys are just tuning in, what we're talking about is franchise comics. I had to have it broken down for me a little bit. So if you're just catching up, where are we at with this so far? So
let me double back because I see it in the comments. And Stephanie says that My Little Pony is more profitable than Power Rangers. That is true. No, I won't deny it. That is true for that is true for now, though. That is true for now. My Little Pony has been basically a steady brand since what, the 80s when it came out, and it's gotten bigger. Power Rangers has been really and like trending down for a long time. But what Hasbro is doing with it, like, I mean, just looking at the toy lines and like how much everything's grown over just a couple of years that they've owned it, like, I fully expect that the movie that they're doing for theaters, the live action movie, will be $1 billion movie, and like that will, like, this isn't me talking as a fan. This is me talking as like an observer of a product growing. So yeah, but My Little Pony definitely makes more money.
So you just gave me this thought, and I got to ask now. The original Power Rangers movie, not the original movies, those were great. I love those ones. I'm talking like the most recent one. That
The
character design.
2017.
Yeah. What did you think about the character design and the armor designs?
I could take it or leave it. Like, I get what they were trying to do. Like, they went for, like, it was almost kind of like Zack Snyder's take on Kryptonian like culture and design. Like, it was that
Right.
movie's visual aesthetic. My problem is they weren't in the suits enough. Like, I don't
Yeah.
like what they looked like is less material than the fact that they weren't in the suits. This dude wanted to make Breakfast Club, and he got hired to make Spider-Man: Homecoming, and he kind of met somewhere in the middle. Which, whatever. Like, I like that movie. Like, I'm not going to knock it, but it's not a great Power Rangers movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it did what it did, right? It was a reboot to get people interested in the franchise again.
Yeah,
But
and now
why
we're
did they
getting
have
another
to
reboot.
But see, and you know why? Because they casted a damn 35-year-old to play the Red Ranger high school kid. Oh my gosh. I'm 37 and he looks older than me. And
Is
he's
he
younger than me.
35?
He's like 35. In
That-
that movie, he was in his early 30s, 31,
He-
30. He's the dude
yeah.
from Stranger Things.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that old. I thought he was maybe in his mid to late 20s.
Oh, I was so pissed. I saw him and I'm like, he's got a beard. You could see it. He's got the shadow.
17-year-olds not have beards?
I guess they do now. When I was in high school, I didn't grow until I was like 25.
I mean, even the original Power Rangers cast looks like way older. They're supposed to be like 14 to 15-year-olds, and they're like grown ass adults.
Yeah, when Tommy
I
grew
grew-
ponytail, I'm like, that guy's definitely like 21. He's gonna buy.
I,
those
I
cigarettes.
grew up with like really false expectations about what being a teenager would be like. I was skinny and nerdy and ganky and like just all these not attractive 18-year-old actor things. Things haven't improved much either.
Sick burn.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Back
here.
on topic here.
So did we talked about what we thought about the movie. We're talking about franchise comics. We've done the food chain now, or anybody left?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I had any more points, so I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So-
overall, I'll still support franchise comics when they come out.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what? I think one thing I'll add that I didn't add earlier is I think that they've gotten better over time as, like, I think I don't want to blame Buffy season 8 for this, but it's a good example of the potential that these comics have, because that ran up through season 12. Like, that was a long running 100+ issue total run of comics. And I think that kind of stuff gives publishers and retailers and readers a little more confidence that what they're reading is not just going to be cash grab garbage. I could be wrong. I mean, I think Rick and Morty has done similar numbers across all its series too at this point, like probably 75, 80, 100, right?
Yep.
So anyway, that's that. Sounds like we're all in agreement that they're really good.
Good stuff.
Please, all the editors who are obviously watching, hire me to write yours. My Little Pony, I would love to get some of that pony money.
Pony money. I have one recommendation for our outline. I think you need to add at least one box in there that says Anthony derails, and just label it that in the middle of every segment. Just so
it's at the end. You missed it last week because you skipped that whole section.
You got to put them in the middle. I need one every section block, at least one, just so I can have it on standby.
Does this happen organically? That's the idea for
Bro,
it to
when I
happen.
get rolling, yeah.
Don't take it the wrong way, but some people's end is other people's middle, bro.
There you go.
All right, so now that we've talked through Kong and Godzilla, we've talked through kind of our take on franchise stuff. The last thing we wanted to leave you guys with this week was sort of our picks, our takes on what ones you could check out if you haven't checked them out before. There are a lot. We don't have slides for all of them. We have slides for a handful of them, but we'll talk about some ones that we don't have slides for. But yeah, like we always want to be giving you guys things to go check out. We never want to tell you what's bad or what you shouldn't check out because that
Sure.
leaves you with nothing. So we've got some picks and some non-slide picks for you coming up. I can't remember if we have a intro slide for this one. I don't think we do.
Nah.
All right, I changed the order of these, so whoever put them in there, speak up.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I should have edited this while we were derailed.
okay, so this was something that I brought up for franchises because I've read some of the Indiana Jones comic books and they are fantastic. And it's exactly to your description where they give you that little bit extra because the Indiana Jones lore from the movies, but they give you those extra adventures because come on, let's face it. If somebody said you could be Indiana Jones, a lot of kids wanted to. They wore the fedora, they borrowed their dad's jacket, and if you can get a couple extra badass adventures, I mean, this dude was, yeah, he's James Bond. He got the girl, he kicked the ass, he found the artifact. Um,
Point of order. Point of order. In the very first movie, and this is going to be another fucking Big Bang Theory reference now, but it's very true.
uh,
In the first movie, Indiana Jones is literally inconsequential to the plot of the movie. If you take him out of it, everything plays out exactly the same. Maybe even the Nazis die faster.
I never thought of
they,
it that
they
way.
were they were their own worst enemy all the way up to the end anyway.
Sure, but there's an argument to be made that Indiana Jones aided the Nazis. Is that who you want to be telling our viewers to go check out? A Nazi sympathizer?
Oh man, I almost just made a comment right now, and that would have been so bad. All right, let's move on. I seriously almost like.
But how many have y'all taken archaeology classes because you wanted to become Indiana Jones?
Or how many you thought about
I
it?
wanted to be indie for the wrong reasons. Not archaeology was not one of them.
Okay, so
The other
I'm
ones I
showing.
mentioned.
Yeah, I'm showing here Rick and Morty. This is the 1 in 50 for issue 1. Um, so with this story, it's actually not written by Dan Harmon or Justin Rowland. It's a fan that started creating this.
Interesting.
So that's what I thought was like the interesting part of this, that he expanded the universe and then Justin Rowland will do like cover art and I think he does some of the interior work. But yeah, so all the storyboards are written by someone else. I forget the writer's name.
Interesting.
But and then they expand off, and like I said earlier, like into other aspects of the story. Like they have a Rick and Morty Dungeons and Dragons storyline.
Yeah.
You can even get back into the actual Rick and Morty universe and like follow the Council of Ricks. Crumb Bravo's Michael. That's like one of my favorites. So yep.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah, and and then for all you chasers that are looking for the first appearance of Rick and Morty, it's in the Pocket Morty, which is a insert that's inside the DVD of the first season.
Interesting.
So this is like the Power Rangers underwear comic.
Yeah, pretty much. Sounds like it.
I feel like to be a first appearance comic, you have to be a standard size or at least slightly closer to standard size comic. If your comic's this big, that's not a first appearance.
I mean, it's written as a comic style. I mean, I'm sure there's a slab of it already. It wouldn't surprise me.
Listen, whoever's got the comic is going to argue that it is. Whoever doesn't is going to say no, it's not. That's how those arguments go.
Absolutely.
Yep. I don't have that comic, so it's not.
But you have issue 1?
Dude.
I've got a few of them. I have some odds and ends. Somebody gifted them to me because I do like
Nice.
Rick and Morty quite a bit. And this new season's coming in June, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I need to finish this most current season, and I've seen them all the way through except for this season. You know what it is? It's if Laura doesn't want to watch it, then we want to put something we both enjoy. But she's always after a while, she's like, it's the same thing, and I'm like, okay, I need to watch this on my own. So I think we need to review the season just so I have an excuse to watch it all.
Nice.
Fair.
All right. So the next book.
All right, so this one's one of my picks. I'm a huge Alien fan. Alien is probably my favorite movie. Like it goes back and forth between a couple, but it's definitely up there. I just think it's the perfect horror movie. I love space horror. The alien design is incredible. This book is Aliens Dust to Dust. It is written and drawn by Gabriel Hardman, and it is what it does really well. And this is why I like it. Maybe it might not be for other people, but this is what makes it work for me is there's a really strong human story anchored on this little kid trying to survive an alien attack, and like it's just done really well. Like it's just horror. The art is incredible. I mean, like Hardman is an incredible artist and a super incredible inker. So like it's murky. Like this cover is a really good preview of what's inside. So this was one of the comics that really pushed me over and made me say, okay, this is a good use of the expansive nature of franchise comics. If you haven't checked this out, it's from a couple years ago. I don't think it was super duper popular. I know the trade's out. I own it. But if you want to track down the issues, they're definitely on eBay. I'm sure that Ant probably has them in one of his 50,000 long boxes. So yeah, no, this is a really good one. It's and like it goes beyond being just a good comic because the story is really meaningful when you get to the end of it. Like I said, that's what does it for me.
So how do you feel about Aliens being bought? Or I mean, Dark Horse selling it to Marvel. I mean,
So the logistics of that are Fox owns Alien and Predator and the sort of associated properties with that. They sold to Disney. So, the joke is that the Alien Queen is now a Disney princess. I'll be interested to see how it goes. Marvel, being under Disney, has started making the comics. I haven't checked them out yet. I usually like to read these things like as arcs or when they're done. I'm sure they'll be fine. Like I've read a lot of Aliens comics, and like most of them are just okay, which is why I wanted to point this one out because it's sort of a cut above. I'll be interested to see what they do. It seems like Fox Studios is going to stay Fox Studios regardless of like the Disney merger, and they're going to continue to make properties that Fox did, adult oriented stuff that'll end up on Hulu instead of Disney. So I don't really have any strong feelings about it one way or the other. They haven't done much with it, so it's hard to have an opinion about it.
So we're saying is Disney needs to have a black label that's 18 plus so they can do these type of movies, right?
that's what the Max series was for.
There you go. So it'll be Disney Max. There we go. We're advocating for that now, so they can do these alien movies right. All right, what do we got here?
All right, so this is a Simpsons cover. It's actually not the front cover. This is actually a back cover for, I think it's issue like 138. Don't quote me on that.
It says 160.
It says 160, but actually so this is a back cover that they made, and then the front cover has Grandpa Simpson spray painting on Chief Wiggum. So that's the actual front cover. So if you're looking for this is the back cover. I thought it was always unique that Simpsons would do this every so often. They would do a homage or something like that on the back cover and not on the front cover. So it could be a surprise for you. Yeah. And then, I feel like the series is kind of overlooked because, you always see the Bongo comics everywhere and everyone's like, oh, they'll have them forever. But with nostalgia hitting, who knows? And who doesn't need a radioactive man that's playing a homage to X-Men 50,
Yeah. I think I was never like, I was actually really down on the Simpsons comic. I have a buddy, Matt, who bought them, and I would just bust his balls about it all the time. Like, please, he would buy $200, $300 worth of books a week, though. Like, I was just like, you need to cut down, and this is where you should start. But like I was saying earlier with like the Rick and Morty thing, like this is a show that is designed in such a way story-wise that you can do a comic and it will feel like it's just another episode, right? You can do the format of Simpsons very easily as a comic. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this ran for, I mean, it's been going for years and years and years. Maybe the longest running franchise comic of all time. Don't quote me on that, but it seems like very possible.
Yeah, that'd be a good guess, right?
Yeah, and they've done spin-offs of all their issues. They have like Itchy and Scratchy comics. I think they did a Krusty Land stuff, so it's all over the place on this.
Have you guys ever read the Krusty Ride?
Have
you ever read the Krusty Ride? Is it Universal, the Krusty Land 3D roller coaster? Have you ever done that?
I think so. It's been a long time.
It's so terrible. I get so sick on that stupid thing.
I mean, I have a Camp Krusty tattoo, so
say swear. Where?
It's on my leg.
Picture it didn't happen.
I'll send a pic afterwards.
Oh man, I want to see these live view numbers jump up.
It's on my Instagram.
Grow some skin.
But in the summertime when I'm wearing shorts, I'll show it off.
You live in Texas. It's always summer there.
You gotta
I
show up
know,
the
right?
calf game.
All right.
All right.
This is another one of my picks. This is written and drawn by James Stokoe, who is just an incredible artist with a kind of, I don't want to say minimalist style, but he's the perfect quintessential Godzilla artist. And this is one of my favorite books of all time, maybe my favorite book of all time. Godzilla: The Half Century War. It's like a love letter to the Godzilla franchise. It starts in 1954, which is when the original Godzilla movie aired for the first time, and follows a soldier who is on the ground during that initial Godzilla attack for 50 years as he continues to cross paths with Godzilla. And like each issue is just its own love letter to the franchise. All the best monsters show up: Mothra, Mechagodzilla, Space Godzilla. Like, and it's the story is so smart about how it includes all those. Like, if you ever wanted like a consolidated theory of Godzilla movies, like just boiled down into one story, like this is the book, and it's a good story. Like the story with the soldier is like it's heartbreaking. And this, like I said, this is one of my favorite books of all time. So if you haven't, good luck finding it. This book is super out of print. I had to have it gifted to me, and it was going for like $120, $130 for just the trade on Amazon. So a hardcover was released not that long ago. I don't know if it's in print, but if you can track it down, this is one to keep on your nightstand.
There you go. That's a recommendation right there. Pick this up again. Now I want to read it, which means I gotta find it. But cool, yeah. Godzilla: Half Century War.
All right, so that is the end of our slides. I know you guys have a couple more. I know you do, Ant, because now you understand what we're talking about. Just go around, off the top of your head, any others that we missed.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure there's tons, but like I brought up at the beginning of the pitch, the Stranger Things, that franchise comic has been a lot of fun because you got what I remember his last name, but what's his first name? It's Byers.
The kid in the show,
Yeah.
Mike.
No, Mike's the main character. Dustin's the goofy kid with the curly hair.
Yeah.
It's
Somebody
been too
tell
long
me.
since I.
Will. There it is.
Will,
Yeah.
the one who was missing.
Okay, so that first Stranger Things comic book series was, I want to say, was a 5-book mini, and it was what he was doing while he was in the Upside Down, which I thought that was integral detail that we needed to appreciate more of the regular series. I thought that was awesome. So I think these things are completely necessary.
Yeah, that's another one that I'm kind of like that went a long way to soften me up. Stranger Things is one of those things that we're not going to get a lot of in the long run. Like the seasons are what, 10 episodes, 8 episodes, and these kids are getting old like real fast, and like it's slowing down even more now because they can't film right now. So like we're looking at 5, maybe 6 seasons before like this is over, and that's one where there are gaps to fill in, like who is out there beyond 11, right? Who's 8, who's 9, who's 10. I know that's some of the stuff those books get into. So like, yeah, I think that's a good use. And maybe that's what it boils down to. Like, what's a good use of the franchise comic versus like, what's a cash grab? What's like, I don't buy into any of the MCU ones, right? Like I know that they're just filler. Like I know that this Black Widow prelude isn't going to change anything widely for the MCU, or probably even feature anything like monumental in it. It's filler.
Some of those preludes, though, and this is what they get. As a retailer, this is why we like them, is that they'll put things in there that they don't show in the trailer, and so I don't want to call it a first appearance, but it's the first of something that's happening. Because do you guys remember Prelude to Avengers? It's the one with Thanos. He's got the glove on it. That prelude went for quite a few bucks because of stuff they were showing their movie panels that you don't see in the trailers. You had to get the comic to see it.
Is it still viable though, or was it people trying to get spoilers?
Yeah, I think after we got up to a couple different, like I think Ant-Man and the Wasp had another like suit spoiler in it in their Prelude comic and to the movie, and then people caught on and started over ordering, and then nothing was in them, and then it kind of crashed down. But there's always that person that's like, I'm going to pick them up just in case.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it comes down to kind of like, is the content additive, or is this like just some giant company trying to get my money for very little substance?
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. What about you? You got anything else on your radar you want to let people know?
Franchises, just approach them with caution. Like that's probably going to be the easiest thing to do, and then see what other people are saying about it. Like, you know, especially if you're new into comics, like it can be like, you could be like glossy over. It's like really easily like it's like, hey, your favorite franchise, here's an additional content, and then it's literally like a page of dialogue or whatever.
Right.
Where yeah, or where it doesn't add to the crossover story. Haha.
And do you have any other books you'd rec that we didn't have slides for?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm gonna pass.
Pass.
All right, and I guess that brings it down to me. There are a few. Obviously, Power Rangers. Like, I'm not even going to spend time telling you people why you should be reading it. Just watch any other episode. It's recapped all there. The Buffy comics, we didn't have a slide for that, but both series, the Dark Horse stuff that went up to season 12 was mostly excellent, and definitely scratched an itch for me as a Buffy fan. The Boom stuff is really good. It's very different. It's kind of like a remixed version. I think it's going somewhere specifically multiversey, and like that we'll get more of that older school Buffy very soon. But if you've got a Buffy itch and you're into that like I am, that's worthwhile. Trying to think of what else.
Oh, I just remembered one.
Well, you have to wait your fucking turn. No, I'm kidding.
So, like forever, I wouldn't collect Star Wars books, and then I started picking up some of the classics, and then right like a year later, then like all the back issue stuff, like the Dark Horse stuff, went crazy. And I'm kicking myself like it's like, oh, I could have picked up all these books for like $1 to $5. Yeah, so I mean, because I told myself I was like, I'm not going to get into Star Wars comics. There's way too many. Like, even though I'm a big fan, like the comics was like that extra level that I didn't want to take.
You can read the Marvel Epic collections. They've got a lot of them out in that format now, and they'll eventually have all of it. I've been doing the Old Republic stuff in the Epic collections, and it's hit or miss, but I like the Old Republic era. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Stunning endorsement from a complete stranger. This show always makes me smile. Share it out, peeps. You hear that, Easter candy people? Peeps, get out there and share it. All right. Well, I think I could talk all night about other recs, so I'll spare everyone.
No, the show bring back.
Yeah, we'll do a follow up episode down the line with more recs.
Okay.
I like it. All right, guys. Well, that was the end of this segment where we're talking about franchise comics. Again, if you're just joining us, we appreciate you. Make a comment, say a comment, and say what's up. And make sure you hit the bell, subscribe, all those good things while we move into what we're eating. You guys ready for this part?
Yeah, and we have a video for this one.
Video for this. We had a video for all of them. Boom, video.
I just imagine one day we'll cut back from the video and we'll all have burritos or something.
Oh man,
we should totally do that. Like change outfits real fast, like superheroes doing booths.
Yeah, and we're all in like good locations for burritos. I want to say, Texas, Arizona, California, like that's.
Yeah. If we can't get a good burrito, like there's something wrong with us, right?
I'll be the one that orders Chipotle.
Oh,
you know the
man.
funny thing though is that California, Arizona, and Texas have burritos named after them, just in that order too, just like that. You can order a California burrito
in California or in Texas,
anywhere. But California, you want it's funny to me. California burritos, the difference is potato and avocado.
Which one has the potato?
The California burrito does. You get potato and avocado in a California burrito here.
Oh, okay. I thought avocado was like one of the other ones. Like that makes no sense. This is avocado land.
That's all I'm saying.
I had avocados for breakfast. Like there's just no getting around them here.
How much avocado toast do you eat daily?
None.
Okay.
I can't afford that. All right, so let's get into this. So my first pick this week is Seven Secrets #7. Comes out tomorrow. If you haven't been following this series, the first 6 issues are fucking insane. Written by Tom Taylor, who did the Injustice series at DC, the Zombie series at DC that I can't remember the name of, Deceased, that's what it's called. Yep. He's writing one of the Batman books right now, and then got Daniele Di Niccolo on there, who's done some Power Rangers and a whole bunch of other stuff. Really just great art style in there, really good mix of kind of manga influence with American comics. This is an insane story. I love it. It actually shares an editor with Power Rangers, and I literally asked my editor for something today, but had an asterisk note in there. But please don't do this for me if it'll get in the way of you working on Seven Secrets, because that's more important to me than this book I'm working on. Uh, First trade comes out this week as well, so if you want to catch up real quick, you should be able to pick that up tomorrow. Yeah, so Seven Secrets is my first pick. Second pick is Immortal Hulk. Al Ewing, Joe Bennett. This book has been incredible for the whole run. We're coming up at the end. I think it's going to drop off at 50, and I'm really excited to see how these last 5-6 issues really kind of like narrow the story down to like the final point. Just really good. I'm sure I don't need to tell anybody to read this or why, but if you're not, go track down the trades, go track down the single issues if you can get them for an affordable price, and check this guy out.
And there's multiple printings for each of the early issues too. So
Yeah, yeah, and the covers are everyone's a home run. There's not been a bad cover on this book that I've seen.
A lot of people say that Alex Ross, this was one of his best runs of trade dress covers.
Yeah.
He did the Injustice run, which is just badass and classic, like you can't believe. But he did kill it on this Immortal Hulk run.
Yeah, for sure. And then my last pick is Beast Wars number 3, franchise comic. Didn't want to mention it a minute ago because I know what I was talking about now. I love Beast Wars. I want to write Beast Wars. If you're watching this, editor of Beast Wars, please hire me. No, this book it's great. It's kind of a remix, modern retelling of what the show did. I always loved the show as a kid, but like growing up, it's clunky. It's a really cool story once it gets going, but like the animation was never up to snuff, and like it still was a kid show. This is doing a version of that is a little more adult, a little more tied into the original Transformers stuff early on. And like I love it. Like this is one of the only franchise books that I'm picking up. And it's still early. You can definitely go find issues 1 and 2 still if you're interested. I highly recommend it.
Very cool.
And then for my sort of additional thing, I think somebody else had this one of the previous weeks, but my wife and I have been watching King of the Hill. It's still hilarious 20 years later. It's genuinely funny. I love that it is about Texas and these kind of very conservative people who aren't like shown as like yokels, and like it's a like a look through a different perspective, and it's genuinely funny. Like Bobby Hill is one of the funniest characters ever created. Boomhauer, Dale, like the whole crew. I love the show. I think we've watched 2 seasons in like less than a week. So yeah, if you're not watching it, I think it's on Hulu. I think that's where we've been watching it. It's just go watch it. It's still awesome today. And sometimes they get into some really like deep shit. Right, that we watched an episode last night where Luann's mom gets out of jail, and like that's a whole tearjerker. Like it's a great episode. Definitely go check this out if you've never seen it before. Go rewatch it if you have.
I like that the dog's name is Ladybird.
I love that Hank thinks Ladybird is like this very emotional, like tuned in, important character, and every time they pan to the dog just is there with no look on her face, like that look right on the poster every time. It's like, look what you've done, Bobby. You upset her, and then just pan over the dog. Absolutely not upset. It's incredible.
So, would Dale's favorite comic, would that be Department of Truth?
No, he wouldn't trust it. He wouldn't
That's
trust
true.
it. But he would write it. Is I'm in the 4th Dale Gribble? These are the questions we're here to ask.
There you go. We'll deep dive into that one, it sounds like. All right. So this book here, let me grab my notes. So the girls actually recommended this one to me. This is really, Jeff Johns is writing it. That's what I was looking for. So Jeff Johns is the writer on this. I'm a big fan of Jeff Johns. I do like his work. This was just interesting to me, so I'm looking forward to picking it up and checking it out. I know very little about this book aside from the cover art's badass. Jeff Johns writing it. Laura recommended it from the synopsis. So I'm looking to dig into it a little bit more here. I like trying things that are a little outside the box of my realm of knowing. And this is kind of going to fall into my wheelhouse of trying out the number ones and seeing if I roll with it. But I know all the covers were pretty badass. I always dig the skull art stuff, but I'm looking at 5 different covers here, and they're all fantastic.
If I could jump in real quick,
Yeah.
for anyone who does want to check this out, it did sell out at distribution, so Diamond doesn't have copies anymore. I would grab a shelf copy at your LCS tomorrow if you do see it and you are interested. It does look pretty cool. Cool. I like Jeff Johns too. Uh, he hasn't done a lot of creator owned stuff. Like he's really been at first a Marvel DC guy and very quickly became a DC guy and has been for the better part of the last 20 years. So like I don't know that I've ever read a creator owned book by him.
Yeah, and see, and I went back and started looking at Jeff Johns' work of stuff that I know that he's done that I've enjoyed. This should be something different outside of his wheelhouse. It's post-apocalyptic. Post-nuclear war. Hence, this guy's super cool glow. So I'm looking to see what they do. It sounds like it's going to go in a sci-fi direction. It's a survival again, which I also enjoy. So I'm going to give it a try, and I hope that it wows me and I stick with it.
Yeah, I'm going to check out the Glowworms franchise comic as well.
Yeah, and Image has been putting out great books, so let's see why this is not worth a try.
Did you say glowworms?
Yeah, the Glowworms franchise. Is that not what this is? Is this not the franchise comic for those little snuggle worms? Oh.
And you touch their bellies and their faces lit up? Is that the ones you're talking
Yeah,
about?
and they all had like pajamas on. Like this is not the franchise comic for that.
No, but that would be a great horror comic because
I
it's
have been
creepy.
I have been grossly misled here. I take back everything I said nice about that.
All right, so these are cool, guys. I've been picking these up. Gogo, I don't think you're a Star Wars fan, are you?
There's a very famous quote of me on Comic Book Women weighing in on that. People can go look for that if they want. I will not comment here.
Okay, so these are a lazy guy's guide to being up to date on Star Wars, which is why I love them. They go into old, new. They give you some background. Do you remember Fangoria? Am I saying that right? Fangoria?
Yeah,
from
Fangoria.
Okay. That's what it reminds me of. They all go into interviews on how they built the makeup or little side stories, so you get a little more of that background in depth of how your favorite stuff's made. And then they'll throw some nuggets in there, and so I've really been enjoying these. But I've also been enjoying that they've been doing variant covers just like comics. So here's the variant.
Nice.
I thought this was cool.
Okay, you couldn't find that picture for the slide.
Dude, Yi said that too, and I was like, I just grabbed the first one I saw. Dude, I didn't even think about doing the variant.
One time is a coincidence. 2 times is a trend, man.
That's why I took the book, because after I did it, I was like, this is what I should have put up. But doesn't this remind you of like Star Wars Rebels, the animated series? She's always tagging on everything.
Yeah,
so I saw that and I was like, that's kind of neat. So
is that Rose Besh that did that one? Is that who it is? I can't remember.
Idea. And
I'm sure someone in the comments will correct us if it's wrong. So
I don't even know how to read these things from credits. Because like inside the comic book, you're just looking for that big battle panel, and it'll say everybody that worked on it. It doesn't work that way with these. But yeah, the Star Wars. What's that?
When you held that up, I thought it was like a Space Jam comic. I was like, what is he holding?
Yeah, and then the regular one was the Chewbacca, and they actually go through some of his makeup stuff. And
so this is like almost like a Criterion Collection kind of like backup material magazine.
You got it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, yeah. I mean, the issue's been going on forever. Like the previous one they had was a Mandalorian cover that Peach Momoko did with that has the child on it.
His name is
Grogu. Grogu.
So they even do like cosplay. So this is a cosplay model that did Ahsoka. So they'll take some of that stuff in there. So it's just kind of a fandom's book on the subject.
Yeah, I mean they'll interview like writers for the comics, upcoming stuff.
So it's like a bunch of interviews with Charles Soule, and that's it.
Actually, the previous one had an interview with Charles Soule. So yeah.
This one's got all new. It says all new fiction, exclusive Star Wars, the High Republic story by the author. So it looks like there's side stories and stuff like that. So just kind of a cool, if you're not looking to read and invest and having to wait week to week, get some tidbits in these things are kind of neat. Oh, we moved on to Swamp Thing already. Okay, so I believe moving on.
You can read on your own time.
I'll read on my own time. So Swamp Thing, I've really enjoyed. Dude, I've been jonesing for something Swamp Thing good. I know that's bad. So usually he's pretty decent in like the Justice League Dark stuff, but he's never a main character. The old school stuff is fantastic. So I've been waiting for somebody to do it right. And I believe that you're familiar with the writer Ram V. Gogol, you're a fan of this guy?
Yeah, I know Rom a little bit. Like we're not friends, but we both did comics experience back in the day, and we've talked at cons and stuff. Rom is incredible. I think on the previous episode I recommended the Savage Shores, which is incredible. Blue and the Green by him is also incredible. Also on this book is Mike Perkins on art, I believe, who is just right. Is that right?
Yep, Mike
Yep.
Perkins is the artist and cover artist on the trade. Bettina obviously did the V variant.
Yeah. Mike he's one of the best artists, and he doesn't get talked about nearly enough. If you look at his books, none of them are colored with rendering, which is like the shadows. He does all of his own shading, all of his own detail, and usually you just have a flatter go under and color like a coloring book. And he's this book is gorgeous. It's such a good, interesting, different take on Swamp Thing. I really like
Yes.
the first issue. Rom is one of the best storytellers of this current pack of DC talent, and this is one of the best examples of that.
So
So
did Rom fall into that category of a writer that was looking for something to be tried out on, and this is him putting his work out there? Because
No,
it's DC versus his indie stuff.
yeah. So Rom is. I was actually listening to Off Panel, the podcast. It's probably the best comics podcast, and Rom was on this past week. Uh, I didn't know this, but he was originally a chemical engineer who, like, just 5 years ago, same time I started writing comics, decided he wanted to write comics. So he has had a meteoric rise for sure. He's done some other DC stuff here and there. Like so, I'd say he's past that level of being tried out. This probably was more a case of waiting for there to be space and having sort of a line wide sort of creative reset, like Infinite Frontier come along. There's more space for him because he's on Catwoman too.
Right.
But I think Justice League Dark was like his big break in for DC. He took that over from James Tynion. But prior to that, he had done short stories and anthologies for DC, and like I think backups and a couple things. So he had been sort of past that stage, and he's well established at this point. I would not be surprised to see him on a lot of books there for a long time.
Right on. I like it.
Incredibly jealous of him. Incredibly jealous.
Right.
so before
Good stuff.
before we move on real quick, is this the conclusion to the future state for Swamp Thing then? The second issue?
So because
I have no idea.
the Swamp Thing series is its own run.
Oh,
ongoing.
okay.
Future State Swamp Thing. Now
Did
we
that
think
end?
about it, I don't know if it ended, but I don't think I think they might tie it together, but they're not the same.
Okay,
line.
I wasn't sure. I was just
'Cause
asking.
you're right, because you got Future State versus they're two different titles.
And he wrote that as well. You guys remember when we did an episode on Future State and I hadn't read any of them? I still haven't.
I mean, I read the first issue and then I fell behind on my DC
I'm
reading.
gonna send
so.
you guys both a random box of Future States just to flip through so you guys are up to date.
Only send me second issues. Make me work for it.
Give you that taste, and you're like, all right, Aunt, send me the one. I got you. All right. This has been a show that Laura and I have been really, really enjoying. It's called Away. Hilary Swank's the main actress there. And basically, it's a mission to Mars situation. So typically, when we get a mission to Mars, it's the trials and tribulation of the astronauts in space. But this one gives you a fantastic perspective of what it does to home life. The father has a condition where he could have a seizure at any point. And so she's on the moon, just to give you guys a taste. She's on the moon getting ready to go and jump into the transport vehicle that's going to take him to Mars. And he has a seizure and he's now paralyzed from the waist down. And she has a choice. Like, this is the make or break. I go to Mars or I stay here, they go, and I go home. Like, they hit you with that crap off the back. There's a teenage daughter with stuff going on. Gogol, you got a question?
No, I'm just like,
you soaking it in.
Yeah, this is crazy. I like
okay,
it.
so here's the other thing. You got extremely intelligent, respectable people that you're with, that are on your shuttle, going with you to Mars. You're living together, you're working together, you're surviving together. And the other thing is the relationships start to intermingle. A lot of these people are married and have families on homes, but they start to crush on each other out of respect. It's not a lust thing. It's a, wow, she's amazing, she's great, she's a good leader. And then the other ways around. On top of all that confusion and your home life going on, they throw in the cool things that space does to you, to your body. There's a part that's not integral to the story, so I'm going to tell you where a piece of this dude's foot falls off, and it is probably the creepiest shit that I ever saw. He's freaking out through the whole episode. The doctor's like, "Yeah, that's gonna happen, man." And it had nothing to do with the story from the episode, but it's just watching a big piece of his foot float by his face after he takes off his sock. I'm like, yeah, no, I would have gone home as soon as I hit the broom.
Holy shit, I'm out.
I'm out. And then shit keeps happening along the way. It reminds me of what's the movie Mars? Is it called Mars?
The Martian.
The Martian, where just one thing after another keeps happening to him, and you're like, all right, this dude needs to catch a break.
Dude, read the book. It's so much worse.
The first line gets me. Do you remember what it was?
The Captain Blondebeard line?
No, the very first line, the very first word in the book is fuck.
Fuck yeah.
And I read that and I'm like, all right, I got to read this. So I did get through a lot of that before I got sidetracked. But again, if you like space, you like, I don't want to call it sci-fi, but it is sci-fi since we can't physically get there. And you like, because I'm a big sci-fi guy. You throw laser beams and aliens and explosions, I'm in. Where Laura likes a really well thought out story, this was the perfect meshing. If your wife and you argue and one watches Little Women, the other one watches Disney Heavyweight, this might be a good collabo for you.
Follow up. Which one of you is watching Little Women? And don't lie.
Laura, I'm the heavyweights.
I said don't lie. Little Women was a fine movie.
Oh, and then I was gonna say I'm really enjoying the Netflix original series shows. Like, I don't know where they came from, and I don't know why they started off kind of rocky, but then they got really good one year, and then they just kept on improving.
Well, that's the thing. You're hearing about the good ones, right? They're still throwing all kinds of shit at the wall. Did you know like Marco Polo got like 6 seasons? Who watched that? Who?
Apparently, like
Netflix kept paying for it.
6-7 seasons worth of people, right?
Yeah. Like the way they do it over there is like viewership in like the first couple days determines whether something gets a second season. Like if we all didn't watch Stranger Things that first week it was out, there probably wouldn't have been a second season. And like that's just how they make their decisions. It's super data driven. I want to know who was watching Marco Polo, like, and all these other things that I scroll through endlessly for hours that aren't the things I watch.
Yeah,
all right.
They got some good stuff. Some interesting things on there. That's interesting though, in the fact that we're gonna get at least an ending. Can't stand when they cut off crap that we like. So even if it's terrible, at least I got an option of getting through a couple extra seasons.
You should never, ever, ever, ever. No, I'm not even gonna tell you because then I'll tell you another time.
Tell me another time because I'll definitely do it if you tell me not to.
Don't watch Twin Peaks. I did.
All right. So for my picks this week, I chose Noctera number 2, the 1 in 50 incentive. I felt kind of spicy this week. I was like, man, I want to get an incentive cover for this week.
That's that Texas burrito.
Yeah. You got to have salsa and or sriracha. But anyways, yeah, this cover art is done by Tony Daniel. The writer is, of course, Scott Snyder. I'm really enjoying this story. It's playing off the theme of the post-apocalyptic world. There's no more sun. Like, we're still figuring out what's going on, like, in this world and everything. So it's really fun. It's a really fun story that I'm enjoying. Like all the action sequences, the dialogue between characters. Yeah. So it's definitely
this character too.
Yeah. So it's definitely a book I'm going to be picking up this week. If not the incentive, at least I'll get the A or B cover, whichever one it lands in my box.
Right. Have you read number 1 on that yet, Gogol?
Yeah. I have the Kickstarter hardcover that they did, and
nice.
the first. I was a big baller, and I did the meet and greet with Scott because I was like, I want to learn from this guy. So I've got the hardcover. It's actually like on the floor behind me because it sits on that chair that's behind me, but I don't ever want it in the shot because I worry about that.
No worries.
All right. So for my second pick, I chose Star Wars High Republic Adventures. I'm really enjoying this IDW series. I read the Marvel one. And yeah, I didn't really care for it. I mean, I'm still kind of reading it, not really, but as soon as I picked up the High Republic Adventures, I was like, oh, this is like the Star Wars story I want.
So IDW's High Republic is better than Marvel's High Republic,
in my opinion.
I think I don't want to talk ill of any publisher, but I think all of the IDW Star Wars comics are better than all of the Marvel Star Wars comics. Like
I
they're
wouldn't
all,
disagree with that statement.
they're all very kid oriented and they're lighter fare, but like they're more swashbuckling. They're more of like what I expect Star Wars to be. Like, I don't care if Han Solo has a secret wife. Like I don't want to know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I get it. You know what? You know what's kind of killed me on the Disney comics is the cover art. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's like it's Star Wars, right? Like you would figure there's got to be fandom artists lined up to produce some great art. Even on the exclusive end of it, it's all got to get approved through Disney. They have to okay it. You don't get to pick some of the things on exclusive. They pick for you. You just decide if you want it or not. So it's been interesting. I've seen these covers come out like Yoda. I mean,
Just Yoda chilling.
yeah, just that face right there. I'm like, Yoda doesn't make that face. He looks too tall right there anyway.
But he's also younger in this series, because
Well,
it's taking.
he's not taller if he's younger though.
He's just more upright than hunched over.
Yeah, because after 100 years, right? You just keep on
Right.
hunching over.
So
All right.
that was my thing. Oh, here we go. I like this.
Yeah. So my third pick is going to be Nottingham, issue number 2. I definitely pre-ordered the exclusive cover from Bird City when solicitations came out, and I was like, yes. Like I asked like Ant in the group, I was like, hey, what's the premise about? And then like as soon as I saw that premise, I was like, sold. And then I'm glad I pre-ordered at least that exclusive cover, because cover A like disappeared within and was probably way under ordered, and so yeah.
Dude, you're lucky you pre-ordered because that cover that I did exclusive is going up. That thing's like $50 a cover now.
Let's see. I don't remember if I picked up 1 or 2, but I mean, I guess I just have to keep on opening boxes until I find it. So
That's a great problem to have right there.
I know, right? So that's why I need a new long box this
You
weekend.
definitely got in on retail. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So, yep. So I'm definitely gonna try to pick up issue number 2, and then I'll probably find a reader copy of the second print, because I think that comes out also tomorrow.
So I got some people agreeing with me on these Star Wars covers, by the way. That's nice.
I don't know, issue 2 though. I really like the A cover for that. That was really cool. All right.
I'm surprised that the Star Wars covers aren't more like connected. Not to bring up Power Rangers one more time, but Boom has fucking figured out how to do variants over there. And like the Power Rangers franchise is one where they're just finding a way to serialize covers across multiple covers. And I'm surprised they haven't done that for Star Wars. Like, why is there not like an original cast set of covers, like with them as like profiles or something? Like they had the Luke silhouette X-wing suit orange one that was like the Wolverine silhouette. Why wasn't there one for Yoda? Like he's green. That's such an easy cover.
So JTC did do a green kind of negative, not like exactly negative space one, but like outlined of a green glowing.
But like, why are they not serializing a concept? Is what I'm saying. Like, how is issues 1 through 10 not have a C cover that's 1 in 25 that is 10 different versions of that kind of cover? Because people will buy that shit.
Well, I mean,
Power Ranger helmets like being held, and then they put it by turtles, and they put it by Rangers.
Or what's
I mean, what did Darth Vader 3 do? They changed the color backgrounds of the A cover. They do stuff like that, like where they take the easy way out.
Listen,
where it's something, it's Star Wars. They it sells the first time, so let's just play it safe and change the color.
Star Wars is a hot chick. They can just do what they want to do.
I guess so.
Yeah, and then so my pick for that's not comic related, which I guess it kind of is on this show, but
it works this week though.
Yeah. So The Simpsons, like I've watched this show since I was a little kid. I catch it every Sunday, watch all the new episodes every single time. I'm gonna keep on watching until like the season, they stop producing shows. Like, I'll get Simpsons tattoos. Like, yeah, I love the series. So
allegedly you'll get Simpsons tattoos, but we ain't seen
Yep. It's not real till you show it.
Okay. Just scroll back on my Instagram. I'm sure you can find pictures of my leg.
We're not going to for this. We're not going to.
So make sure to like and follow my page if you want to see more Aaron tattoos.
You're going to see like a huge influx of really weird followers. Like, let me get those crusty ankle tattoo followers too.
They're gonna start asking to like pictures of his foot in with the tattoo picture.
Like, can
See
you
your toes with it.
I mean, I
Jello?
already have those friends already before I started doing comic podcasting, so they're already following me.
Okay, so you have a diverse friend set. That's great.
Yep.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, was that the last pick? That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap this bad boy up. First off, thanks you guys for tuning in and watching us. Appreciate all the love that we're getting in the chat, contributing to the show. It makes it more fun, makes us have things to talk about and play off of. We're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up next week. What do you guys want to do next week? What do we got planned? What's on deck?
Well, Yi pitched us an idea when we were conceiving the show months ago at this point, and just had to throw him a bone, and we had to do it. So we're gonna do Buried Treasure next week. So we're gonna do some stuff with our personal collection, some gems from there. I'm pretty excited to see what Ant's got hidden away, because his back wall is pretty gemmerific. If that's not the good stuff, I'm interested to see what you got. I'll pull down some slabs off the wall, dig through some boxes, and we'll show you what we got. And we'll just kind of talk about war stories, picking those books up.
There you go, the hunt. You guys are gonna get a little bit of the hunt.
And then
shout out to 9 Squared, to give us that extra boost to do this.
We're gonna put up our favorite book and duel to the death.
See, in Texas, challenging someone to a duel, that's legal. So
there's a very good episode of The Simpsons where the Texan man glove slapping Homer.
Yep.
See, it's all
is it really legal? For reals, it's legal.
Yeah, so it's legally binding. So now Frank and I have to duel like once he visits Texas.
You come across California state lines with a gun, we'll talk.
That's blowing my mind.
Oh, wait, I'm pretty sure there's laws against that now at this point.
Yeah, and that would be like an FBI thing across.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna play pirates next week. The booty stealing kind.
I like it. All right, guys. So make sure you tune in next week. Again, make sure you hit subscription. Make sure you send some people our way. Make sure you hit the bell so you know that when we go live. And again, we're going to go through some personal collection stuff on the next episode of Comic Book Food Chain. But yeah, let's remember to sub. Again, we're getting back to the sub thing. I'm jonesing to give away this Justice League of America 10 foil movie variant. It's been sitting on my desk, and I'm ready to put this in the mail to somebody. So make sure, again, you guys are sharing this out. This is a cool book, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's a gorgeous copy.
Yeah, mine's still in the poly bag. I would say it's a 9.8 candidate. It's been very well taken care of. It's in a top loader. So you will be very happy to have this sent to you from the Comic Book Food Chain. And
when we get rid of this thing, finally, we're going to reveal what the 900 giveaway is. And it is really different and very cool. So follow us on Instagram. Did I do that well? Yeah, we're on Instagram. Yi takes care of that, so show him some love there on his account and our account, but our account first.
Yes.
Yep. So, and then if you send messages, I'll forward them to Frank and to Ann.
That's such an important part. Make sure you guys are following the Instagram, because if you do win, then you got a way to get a hold of us. Yeah, because YouTube, not great. We also have a Twitter that just launched. We got some people saying in the comments a while back that they weren't on Instagram, that they're on Twitter. So we gave you guys another option. I designed a really cool food chain graphic for the header over there. So go like the account or whatever, follow it, because I put some time into this. That's all I have to say about that. So I'm the only thing that I have with this Twitter is I want to be able to send one of you guys the thought of Anthony's thought of the day, and it's going to be super out there, and I'm just going to need you to post it. Okay. Why don't you just the login is in the shared credentials, bro? You could just log in. But I'll never do it, and some crazy shit will fly out of my brain, and I'll be like, "Let me send that to you real quick." Think that it's going to survive you? Text it to us or whatever, and then us remembering to put it out there. That's like 8 more steps. But you know what it is though, because it's so crazy. I'm hoping. Is this how you run your business? I'm just saying though, if you hit the enter button, I'm no longer liable for the thought, even if I'm the one that came up with it. It's just smart. It's Twitter. Nobody's liable for anything on Twitter. Right.
That's very true, right?
All right, guys. So you heard it. We're on Twitter. Hopefully, they'll post my crazy ass comics when I think of them.
Just type it out in Discord, and I'll do it when I have downtime.
I'll set up a bot to just take all the things you write in Discord and put it on Twitter, regardless.
I like it.
Nice.
All right. Well, do you guys let's do a quick around the horn. Anything to add, Frank, before we get out of here for the night?
Uh, Dead End Kids, the Suburban Job #4 is dropping at the end of this month. I've got a couple of retailers who I know have full sets. If you guys are interested in checking out the series and you missed the pre-orders, hit me up and I can connect you with those retailers in time to get you the last issue too. Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness is in previews right now for the Ranger fans in the chat. Go to your local comic book shop and get those pre-orders in. Get me more work, please.
That's the one shot, right?
Yeah, it's a 40-page one-shot starring the Phantom Ranger, who is one of the coolest characters. You can see him right over my shoulder, other side. And that comes out at the end of June. So go pre-order that. If you want to check out Dead End Kids, hit me up. And then keep your eyes peeled for the announcement of my next book. It's coming up pretty quick.
There you go. Very cool, guys. Make sure you guys are supporting the show and go and support Frank out. He does put out some. This is not just us plugging him. I've read his stuff, and it's you definitely gonna. It's one of those things you want to have a couple copies to read through. It's nice stuff.
If you like crying or feeling bad about yourself or sad for other people, or not, if you like feeling anxious, that's a good one. I get that a lot. People read my
Are
books.
you trying to sell this right now by telling people if you like feeling anxious?
Honestly, people are into weird shit.
I like it. All right. Yee, what do you got? Closing thoughts.
Apparently, he's got a Simpsons tattoo. I just saw in the comments.
I guess I need to find my picture, but I'll post it on Instagram after I get off the stream. So, anyways, I want to give a giant shout out to Dave Durr, Chad Cave, Frodo, Ultra Maximus. Like, thank you for joining, like, week in, week out. Make sure to catch us on, like, you'll see me on Flipside. You can also catch Old on Flipside with the Wednesday Night Presser, and then follow his individual channel too. He goes way more in depth into FOC and books you should be like checking out.
Very nice, very nice. And then for me, guys, make sure that you guys go and check out my Facebook page, Miles Morales, Spider-Man issue number 25. We're going to do a pre-sale starting this Saturday. It's going to go live 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you go and subscribe to the newsletter so you know when that goes live and you don't miss out, because I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did a very badass. I didn't do it. Greg Horn did a very badass cover C, and it is a rookie card with Miles on the front.
Nice.
I love that.
That's someone who did killer Star Wars covers. Is Greg Horn.
There you go.
He did all those GameStop exclusive ones.
That's right.
So there you go.
So yeah, Greg's doing some work for me, and he's killing it with these covers. So yeah, make sure you guys go out and support us. But yeah, that was really it for me. Is that all the good stuff? Oh, wait, I gotta say it, don't I?
Mm-hmm. There's 2 more pieces left to this outline. I think you can do it. You're almost there. And one of them isn't even something you do.
Well, one of them is I'm supposed to say. I'm gonna wait on that one. All right, so we got the Twitter that I'm supposed to say. Gosh, I'm not gonna say this with a straight face.
I gotta say it.
It's
the tagline we agreed on.
All right, guys, this is pretend we rewinded all this awkwardness. Okay. All right, guys, so that was the end of the show. Until the next show, stay hungry, y'all. No, wait. Stay hungry, y'all. Hit us with the outro. Jeez.